It is 6:49. This is your morning in 8 minutes. New this morning, everyone's okay after this house caught fire on Sanford Road in North Knoxville late last night. Crews say a couple of 911 callers reported lightning strikes in the area and a possible tree on fire. Firefighters able to put the flames out quickly. Thankfully, no one was home at the time. Investigators now working to figure out exactly how it started.
Many of you reporting lightning last night. Take a look at this. Thanks to Lisa Patterson for sending this in from the Clinton area. You can see multiple strikes there, then a big burst of green light in the distance. Meanwhile, Gleason Drive in West Knoxville still closed this morning after heavy flooding late last night. This is near West Town Mall. You can see a car stuck right there in the middle of it. Remember, turn around if you do see any standing water on the road. And this morning, utility crews, they're working to get the power back on after thousands were in the dark from last night's storms. Here's a live look at the Kub outage map right now. We're looking at around 1,200 people waking up without power this morning. We do want to get to Chief Meteorologist Heather Haley. A much calmer morning now after a busy night, definitely.
Yeah, and definitely looking ahead to more scattered storms. So that's what I wanted to focus on here for you. It's just know it's going to get noisier again. Even let's just map the lightning. Right, just in addition, we've got some downpours and storms bubbling up midday into the afternoon, so you can see them outlining the valley at first. So this is just your lightning tracker. That is where we are going to have some very noisy storms, but yes, they are downpours as well. So now focusing on the rain part of that in the forecast where you live, those streaks of heavy rainfall, yes, could lead to some high water issues that are very isolated, but that's where you get this spike up to 1+. See these blue streaks here in more of our area? So that's where those downpours can pool up in parts of Knox to Blunt and Sevier. We're seeing that here into Monroe and Loudoun County. Got you mapped here with a close look at Roane County to Anderson County as well. Got a good couple of those very heavy downpours starting as early as midday on the plateau and at the Tennessee-Kentucky line. That good streak of a ½ inch to an inch with isolated higher amounts. That's where those purple streaks are. We're seeing one of those right here along the edge of Knox to Sevier, parts of Jefferson to Granger and Hamblin counties. And that's a look at the rain forecast where you live. We'll talk more about the full forecast here in just a moment.
Heather, thanks. Right now, 4 people are dead, and what the Campbell County Sheriff's Office tells us is a murder-suicide. Deputies went to a welfare check at the home yesterday on Log Home Lane in La Follette. They found the 4 people dead. The family had not been heard from since last week when the father passed away from natural causes. As we learn new information, we'll update you through the WVLT News app. And right now, police looking for the people who tried to break into a North Knoxville business.
Police say they crashed an SUV through the front door and then fired gun to break out the glass. This happened early yesterday at the Urban Power clothing store in North Knoxville. The owner tells us his security cameras show what appears to be 3 teens. He handed that video over to investigators. The damage will cost the business thousands of dollars. They tell us they do have insurance. So far, Knoxville police do not have any leads.
1 person dead after a crash on Pellissippi Parkway we told you about yesterday on WBXX. KPD says a woman went off the road on the ramp to I-40 East when she hit a tree. Witnesses pulling her from the car before it caught fire. She later died at the hospital. No one else is hurt. And we now know the name of the man stabbed to death in an apartment on North Bertrand Street. KPD says 53-year-old William Burris lived in the apartment where he died. Investigators are following active leads. They don't have any suspects right now. If you have any information, you're asked to call the East Tennessee Valley Crime Stoppers.
More issues for people living at the Summit Towers in downtown Knoxville. One elevator is back up and running right now. Another is still being worked on. Both were broken for most of the day yesterday. This is the 4th time in 7 months. Crews have responded to broken elevators at the facility housing mainly elderly folks. KFD says a person broke the system this time and the problem is being resolved. And in Crossville, the city manager, Greg Wood, is suspended following the unauthorized closure of a low-income housing complex. We told you about this exclusive story last week. People were forced to leave the Village Inn due to poor living conditions, according to the police department, but it reopened less than a day later due to an error. Wood is suspended for 3 weeks or until an independent investigation is complete. And continuing coverage in Kentucky this morning, the National Guard delivering supplies to people and communities hit hard by flooding.
Crews bringing these supplies the only way they can, by air. Helicopters full of pallets of water and meals ready to eat are being dropped off in communities completely cut off by the flooding. Several state lawmakers were along for the ride, getting a bird's eye view of the destruction. Right now, the death toll in the state still stands at 37. Governor Andy Beshear says cleanup could take years to get things back to normal. And today is your day to hit the polls. It's the day to make your voice heard. It's primary election day in Tennessee.
Polls open in just about an hour at 8 o'clock. It'll determine the two major party nominees for governor, Congress, and state legislative seats. Now, locally, today's election will decide Knox County's mayor, district attorney, along with several other seats. You'll need to bring a driver's license with you today to vote. And state officials say this year's ballot is the longest since 2014, with more than 60 different contests. Well, right now in the WVLT News app, we have you covered. We have a complete look at every county and state election and which candidates are running, so you're ready to hit the polls.
And an East Tennessee barbecue joint closing its doors for good. Full Service Barbecue closing all of their locations in Maryville, Farragut, and Lenoir City. Their food truck is closing as well. The manager says they have to shut down due to economic reasons. And good news for parents in Farragut, a new elementary school coming to the area. A part of the property where the school will be built was approved last night. In total, the county will pay over $3 million for 32 acres of land. All board members approved the buy. And the historic Andrew Johnson building in downtown Knoxville is officially sold. The $6 million deal with a Nashville real estate company closed on Monday. The company plans to open a boutique hotel with more than 140 rooms.
It is 6:55 this morning. We do want to get a look at your first alert traffic with Whitney.
Heather's keeping an eye on that patchy, dense fog. This is a look at some of the views that you could run into along your Thursday morning commute. This is I-40 right at Gallagher View. Just want to use caution out there, get those low beams on. The good news is this fog not causing any major delays on the interstates and main roads. If you are traveling up through Campbell County, heads up that slope repairs are now taking place on I-75 northbound right around mile marker 151. This is just south of Rarity Mountain. They're trying to put a temporary travel lane on the inside shoulder as they start this slope repair. This traffic shift is going to take place over the next couple of days.
About 6:56 now as we take a look at what's happening now as you get out the door. As Whitney mentioned, we are mapping this fog. We have a couple of new spots that have just developed in the past couple of minutes. Some dense fog in parts of Monroe County, Blount County, southwest Knoxville, throughout Loudoun and Anderson, picking up some new fog here. You can see that reaching up into southern Campbell County, and we still have that same spot of dense fog sitting over Lee to Hancock County. So just watching this fog develop based on the mostly clear sky and mild temperatures. So it's really not a bad morning. That fog's only developing because we had those isolated storms yesterday, because we have a mostly clear sky right now. It's 70 in Huntsville to 68 Knoxville and 67 Cosby. Feeling good, looking good, just some spots of fog in your way. So a quick look at your planner. Again, those scattered storms develop, especially this afternoon to evening. Spotty midday in our higher elevations, cranking up the high to 91 and feeling hotter. So we still have a lot more to track for you here, especially coming up on the CW with some afternoon storm development at times on into next week as well.
All right, Heather, thank you very much. Yeah, the steaminess yesterday, the humid air that we had, it was, I went for a walk and I don't know how I made it back home, to be completely honest with you. 6:56, we're headed to WBXX. We hope you have a good day.
Glad you're here.
Me too.